On February 6, 2026, NASA released the clearest images yet of the interstellar object known as 3I/Atlas. Photographs captured by the Hubble Space Telescope and the SphereX mission in early January, as the visitor sped outward beyond the orbit of Mars. And what they revealed has turned a lingering mystery into an outright crisis for everything we thought we knew about objects from beyond our solar system. In these frames, 3I/Atlas does not appear as a fading, battered relic, shedding its last fragments into the void. It blazes with renewed intensity, dramatically brighter than at any point during its inbound journey, crowned by a narrow, arrow-straight jet of material aimed directly at the sun. A sunward spike that no natural process should produce. No comet, no asteroid, no known interstellar body has ever shown such defiance of solar forces. The images are pristine, the data unambiguous. Yet they depict behavior that feels less like physics and more like purpose. To many, this is the final unraveling of the natural explanation. To others, it is the moment the cosmos stops pretending. It began with cautious optimism last summer. When 3I/Atlas was first confirmed as the third verified interstellar object to cross our solar system, expectations aligned with the two that came before. It would follow a hyperbolic path, graze the sun, brighten modestly through outgassing, then dim as it departed forever. Early observations seemed to cooperate. A faint coma appeared. Subtle brightening occurred near perihelion in late October 2025, and traces of water and dust were detected. Many breathed relief. This one, unlike the enigmatic silent traveler of 2017, or the more ordinary second visitor, behaved like a proper comet. But the newest images shatter that comfort. As 3I/Atlas recedes, it should be cooling, its ice is exhausted, its glow collapsing into darkness. Instead, it has flared with sudden, explosive vigor. The brightness increase is not gradual but sharp, almost stepwise, as though some internal mechanism ignited precisely when solar heating began to wane. The displacement in magnitude exceeds anything predicted by the most generous models. Something is sustaining it, fueling it, against the relentless drain of distance. The sunward jet is the true violation. In every observed comet, solar radiation and wind push ejected material away from the sun, sculpting tails that stream outward in graceful, predictable arcs. Dust and gas always flee the light. Yet here, in the Hubble frames from January 7th, a brilliant, needle-like protrusion extends toward the sun, perfectly aligned, unwavering, as if anchored by intent. This is not the occasional optical illusion of an anti-tail seen edge-on. This jet is dynamic, persistent, visible across multiple wavelengths. It persists even as the object accelerates outward at rates that demand far more thrust than the visible normal tail can provide. Calculations based on the observed mass, a nucleus far denser and larger than expected for its brightness, require forces no random sublimation can supply. The numbers are merciless. To produce both the flare and the sunward spike without fragmenting or dimming elsewhere, the ejection must be controlled, directional, almost engineered. The physics do not bend here. They break. Side-by-side composites released alongside the images make the anomaly undeniable. Frames of ordinary solar system comets departing after perihelion show diffuse, fading halos, tails thinning into nothingness. But 3I/Atlas remains compact at its core, its primary tail modest and conventional, while the sunward feature cuts through the frame like a blade. It is as though two separate systems operate within the same body, one obeying solar pressure, the other rejecting it entirely. Infrared data from SphereX adds another layer of impossibility. The temperature distribution is uneven, hotter along the sunward jet than anywhere else, as if energy flows inward rather than outward. No natural ices vaporizing under sunlight can generate such reversal. The glow is not merely reflected, it carries signatures of excitation, of processes that resemble ionization under precise conditions. For an object that traveled billions of years through interstellar cold, this sudden, disciplined activity feels less like awakening and more like activation. Spectroscopic breakdowns from the new observations reveal composition that strains natural formation theories to their limit. The ratios of organics to carbon dioxide, of water to dust, appear balanced with unsettling precision. Complex molecules, building blocks of life, emerge not in chaotic abundance, but in layered, stratified releases. Dust forms one shape, water another, organics yet a third, carbon dioxide a fourth. The distributions do not overlap as they should in random outgassing. They separate cleanly, as though filtered or channeled through distinct pathways. The nucleus itself, resolved more clearly than ever, shows surface features too smooth in places, too angular in others, reflecting light with polarization patterns sharper than any known natural body. Light waves align not randomly, but in organized vectors, the signature of surfaces polished or structured beyond what chaotic accretion allows. If this were a comet born in some distant stellar nursery, its materials should bear the scars of eons, craters, irregularities, disorder. Instead, the new images suggest refinement, resilience, design. The trajectory only deepens the unease. As 3I/Atlas exits, its path remains eerily aligned with the ecliptic, its non-gravitational acceleration smoother and more consistent than any solar system comet on record. The deviation is not erratic but calibrated, as though compensating for solar wind in real time. Plotted backward, the orbit originates from a region of sky rich in past anomalies, a direction that statistics render improbable without guidance. And now, as it departs, the timing of the flare and the sunward jet coincides precisely with Earth crossing the object's orbital plane, a moment when we see it edge on, when anomalies become most visible. It is almost as if the display were timed for observation. The closest approach in December 2025 offered only distant views. But these new images, taken when the object should be slipping into obscurity, deliver clarity no one requested. Clarity that feels deliberate. Some theories struggle to contain the data within natural bounds. Perhaps ancient primordial ices of unusual composition drive the late outburst. Perhaps the nucleus is exceptionally dense, retaining heat longer than expected. Yet each explanation requires exceptions stacked upon exceptions. The sunward jet demands forces opposing solar radiation pressure. The separated molecular clouds demand internal structure no impact history can sculpt. The sustained brightness demands energy input no passive body possesses. One by one, the natural models falter. What remains is the possibility no one wished to voice aloud, that 3I/Atlas is not merely a comet enriched with organics. It may be a construct carrying them, a relic engineered to endure interstellar transit, to activate under stellar heating, to release its payload in controlled sequence, a device that brightens not from chaos but from protocol. The implications cascade. If the sunward jet represents thrust, then the object is still maneuvering, still powered after inconceivable spans of time. If the layered releases represent compartments, then it carries cargo preserved with intention. If the polarization and smoothness represent manufacturing, then intelligence once shaped it. The flare as it departs could be final calibration, a beacon, or simply the last stage of a mission begun before our sun ignited. We watch not a random wanderer, but something that has crossed the gulf with purpose intact. The new images do not resolve the mystery, they escalate it. Because every pixel, Every spectral line, every impossible angle, insists on the same conclusion. This is not nature speaking in its usual careless voice. This is something addressing us in a language we were never meant to decipher so soon. And yet the object recedes. By late 2026, it will fade beyond the reach of even our greatest telescopes, carrying its secrets back into the dark between stars. The window is closing. Each new dataset arrives with greater urgency, each image more haunting than the last. The sunward jet persists in the latest reductions, thinner now but still defiant. The brightness holds longer than any model allows. The molecular signatures remain pristine, unmixed, as though freshly liberated from protected reservoirs. The cosmos has delivered 3 interstellar messengers in less than a decade. The first silent and strange. The second familiar yet distant. The third active, articulate, impossible. It does not arrive quietly, it performs. And in performing, it forces the question we have avoided since the first anomaly appeared. Are we witnessing the debris of natural processes stretched to their extreme, or are we watching the persistence of mind across cosmic time? The unease grows heavier with every release, because the new images do not merely document a comet, they document autonomy. Motion without exhaustion, structure without erosion, release without waste. In the cold vacuum, 3I/Atlas burns brighter as it leaves, as though reluctant to vanish unseen. The sunward spike points backward, a gesture across hundreds of millions of miles, a line drawn in light that refuses to conform. If this is natural, then nature possesses elegance we have never credited. If this is artificial, then we are not the first to send objects into the dark, nor the most enduring. Either truth reshapes everything. The stars are not empty, they remember, and sometimes they send memory back. We stand at the edge of a revelation that will not wait for consensus. The data accumulates without permission, each frame a quiet accusation against complacency. The universe has never owed us comfortable answers. It offers only what is. And what is, in these final images of 3I/Atlas, is an object that accelerates with grace, that glows against entropy, that points toward the sun as it departs, as though acknowledging the star that briefly illuminated its purpose. Perhaps this is how contact truly arrives, not in signals or landings, but in subtle, sustained defiance of expectation. A visitor that refuses to behave as mere matter should. That forces us to see further, to question deeper, to admit the vastness of what we do not know. As the last opportunities to observe fade, one sensation dominates every discussion, every analysis, every sleepless night spent staring at the data, or laced with dread, because whatever 3I/Atlas truly is, it has already changed us. It has crossed the abyss intact, performed beyond prediction, and now withdraws carrying the evidence of its difference. The question is no longer whether it fits our models. The models have failed. The question is, what kind of reality produced something capable of this journey, this resilience, this silent declaration? How ancient was the hand that shaped it? How far has it traveled? And why, in this precise moment of our history, has it chosen to reveal so much before vanishing forever? If these images have shaken your understanding of what is possible out there in the dark, do not let the moment pass. Subscribe so you never miss the next revelation as the data continues to arrive. Turn on notifications. The final observations are coming soon. Share this with anyone who needs to see what the cosmos is showing us. And most importantly, tell us below. What do you believe 3I/Atlas really is? A primordial wanderer stretched to its limits, or the enduring echo of a civilization that mastered the stars long before we looked up? The conversation begins now. The universe is listening,